Hey guys, I'm Artsy, and today I am going to be doing a tutorial on how to draw trees and plants and forests in my style. So of course you could tweak it to your style, and you don't have to listen to anything I say if you don't want to. It's all up to you and how you like to draw. I'm just gonna get straight into that, so let's begin. So for each part of the video, I'm going to be giving a different piece of advice. And for trees, my piece of advice is stylize your trees. So don't just copy what I'm doing or what some other person used on YouTube. If you want to stylize your trees based on the way you draw everything else, like architecture, people, and all of that stuff, animals, you don't want to have like a super realistic background with just like a super cartoony person and a super cartoony house, or vice versa. So that's my tip for trees. By the way, these are the trees that I am going to be doing in this video, and I am going to let you enjoy the rest of my process until the next section. So next up is grass, and my main tip for grass is really simple, and most people know not to do this, but some beginner artists just draw every single little blade of grass, and honestly it doesn't even look very good. You should disperse them out, but just make most of the ground flat, because drawing every blade of grass really doesn't do you any good. It just wastes you time, and it looks better when you don't. So overall, just don't do that, okay? So next up we have mushrooms and flowers. And my biggest pet peeve is when people only do like one type of flower and one type of mushroom in a whole entire scene, because I don't understand. Like, when there's one kind of mushroom, there's probably going to be others, and every mushroom is a little different. So when you just like duplicate the same mushroom over and over, it doesn't really make any sense. So same with flowers. So you want to use different kinds, like tall, flat, round mushrooms, and then more tulip flowers and more just daisy flowers and flatter flowers. You know what I mean. So overall, just add variety to your pictures. So after shrooms and flowers, we have stumps. And stumps are pretty self-explanatory. You want to add rings in the middle is my first tip. For this one I have two tips because it's so simple. You want to add rings in the middle if you're taking a photo from above or drawing it from above, and you have to add different widths and patterns based on what tree it is. And my second one is, you might want to consider adding little micro organisms and biomes inside of the stumps, because there's a big stump in my yard, and it's just like a few feet across, and it's got like 2 trees growing from it and a bunch of flowers. So right now I'm just drawing some little tiny plants and mushrooms and trees within this stump because I've seen it happen before, and that's my second tip. So now is what you all have been waiting for, the time when I put all of the knowledge I have taught you together into one drawing. So there are spruce trees, short, medium, and long grass, a few mushrooms, a few flowers, and there aren't any stumps, but I'm sure they exist in this forest somewhere. So my tip for sketching forests and scenes is keep it simple, because you could always add more, and you want to sketch lightly, so when you erase and do the line art, it's smooth, but that's just a tip for sketching in general. So anyway, you want to basically just keep things simple. And I did skip the inking because whenever I watch videos, I don't find it much fun to watch people ink. So yeah, and that's all I gotta say about the sketching. So now I am coloring in this picture, and do you guys ever have like something that is sort of an addiction, but you have just like way too many of them, like in art supplies? Because for me, that's colored pencils, but it's not really my fault, because for my birthday and Christmas, people just keep on buying me colored pencils, and I'm like, I don't need them, because I've probably got at least 150 colored pencils. Definitely more, actually, probably more like 300 colored pencils, but I just don't need any more, and people just keep on getting them for me. So now that I'm done telling you about my life, I'm going to tell you about the drawing. So in the last tip that I have for you today is for coloring, and that when you do coloring, you want to keep things strokey, especially with trees. I know the direction that you're trying. So for these trees, their pines or leaves or thingies are down. So I'm trying to color mostly down, and I know right now I'm not because I wanted to cover more area, but I'm trying to color as best I can downward and keeping things streaky and not trying to make it super smooth, because that's not the way trees are. Trees have lines in them, and same with grass and all the plants. They're not completely smooth, and honestly, neither are some of the things people draw smooth, but that's a different story for a different day. So, and my second, I know I said I'd only have one for each, but here I am. So my second tip for drawing / shading trees is that you want to have a color scheme. So you want to pick like 2 or 3 colors that you're going to use in the picture. You don't want to have like, let's say 15 colors that you're using, because that just doesn't make much sense. Oh yeah, and FYI, any like sort of shaking or rattling you hear in the background is probably just me picking pencils out of my pencil bag. So this is the part where my camera just randomly decided to stop lighting up the space. for no reason. So then it just got a lot darker, and there was really nothing I could do about it because I just continued to draw and I didn't realize it right away. So sorry about that. I tried to fix it with filters, but it didn't really work. So right now I'm doing the shading, and my tip for shading plants is similar to coloring, but you want to keep the shading streaky. You don't want it to be super smooth because that's just not natural. And you want to keep shading fairly simple. And no, wait, that's highlights. Sorry. You want to keep highlights fairly simple, considering that highlights are representing things being shiny, but plants aren't very shiny unless they're like succulents or something. So you honestly just want to shade, and I didn't add any highlights to this picture, which was probably because I didn't have my pen, but yeah, just don't add too many highlights. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching today, and this is the final product. I hope you like it. And even the color did get messed up a little bit because my light turned off, but that's okay. Consider subscribing and liking, and tune in next time for another video. Bye!